Well, welcome to another RiderCamTV video, and today we're up at our friends at Damrel's. So Steve, Mark and all of their team have invited us up to take a few bikes out, and today I am going to ride this beautiful Honda Forza 300, and the full model is with the ABS on the end. Fabulous looking machine, and it's one of those machines that people perhaps sometimes overlook. Almost like a car, got loads of stuff on the dashboard, loads of features, massive cavernous area to store things, 11.5 litre tank, about 182 kilos, and about 24-25 brake horsepower. So it'll do lots and lots and lots of miles on the tank. It'll stay up to motorway speeds and just cruise along all day long. It's a twist and go, but it's got some other features as well, which we'll have a look at a little bit later on. But I think sometimes people overlook these scooters. The Honda's brought the ADV out, which we did quite some time ago. Really loved that bike. The bigger bikes like the 650 Bergmans, that sort of thing, got a massive following. And to be fair, the reason they got a massive following is because they're just awesome machines. So the weight distribution of this might be 180 kilos, but the weight distribution is going to be really low. So riding it, when you move it around, it's not going to feel like it's overly top heavy because all the weight is lower down. Got really kind of small wheels, but we'll see how they feel when we're riding. Got things like electric screens and a whole host of other stuff on there. So we're going to go out and see what it's like, see what it rides like. Because I think it's actually going to be good fun. I've been looking forward to riding this for a while because Mark had the pleasure of taking out the Bergman 650 that we reviewed quite a while ago, and then we both took out the Honda ADX or ADV, I think it's called, but almost like the off-roady type version of the Honda scooter world. But I think, scooters are a bit of chalk and cheese, but I think the chalk and cheese comes from some people's preconception about what they are and what they can do. Now, both Mark and myself have had people, either single riders, and we've had single riders with pillions on, granted a little bit bigger bikes like the 650 scooters, away on tours with us up and down mountains, and do you know what? They've ridden them so well. They've been really comfy. They've had all their stuff inside. They haven't had things hanging over on panniers. It's all been underneath the seats, keeping things out of the way. But they've actually been overtaking some of the more higher powered bikes on mountain passes and things like that. So it's not about the bike, it's about you riding the bike and what pleasure it brings to you. And there's something for everybody. And this is quite a spectacular looking bike. It's quite understated, the colours are understated, but to be fair, it looks a really sleek machine and I'm so excited to ride it. So that's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to go off and we are going to go and see what it's like. So it's on the centre stand, so I'm going to take it off the centre stand. And immediately, it is so light. Might be 180 kilos, but it is just so light. What a comfy place to sit. This is really quite comfy. And it's quite strange the first time you get on one of these bikes, trying to work out, or trying to tell your brain that the lever on the left hand side is not the clutch, and you don't need to press. You don't need to pull it at all to change gear because it's a twist and go. So you've got your front and back brake. And we'll pull out. Wow! What power! And I say what power, I mean that in a way that I really wasn't expecting it to have such a pickup. For a 300, this has really got some pickup. And obviously, as you can see, and you'll see on another video, that Mark is riding this beautiful little Honda monkey bike. So that should be a fun video to watch. So make sure that you're Subscribe so you can have a look and see his take on this lovely bike that he's riding. But for now, let's get back to the Forza. So 300cc, about 184 kilos, good horsepower, good torque. And for 184 kilos, you would think that it would be actually quite a sluggish machine to ride. But to be fair, it's really not a sluggish machine at all. It's got quite a lot of power indeed. The seating position, like with the other scooter that I rode, the Honda ADV, I am finding that the small of my back, or the coccyx, are pushed right up against the seat. I could do with the seat being back a little bit further, perhaps about 3 or 4 inches, but it's about getting used to the seating position on the bike that you're on. And we've ridden this around a little bit, and I'm really getting to like it. I like the fact that in front of you you've got all of the instrument cluster like you would have in a car almost, so it's almost like riding a car in the way that it shows you all the information. It's got everything to hand, and because it's almost got like a car dashboard, the instruments are literally like a car. It feels like I'm in a car, but with the added ability of having some fresh air around me, and the enjoyment of being almost like on a motorbike, but slow speed manoeuvring. I mean, almost at a halt, and actually I didn't feel that I had to adjust how I was holding the bike at all. It just sat there, which is really quite an alien feeling actually. It's really quite a nice alien feeling that the weight isn't overly one side or overly the other side. It's actually really well balanced. So, seating position, you have got 2 places to have your feet. You can have it like a standard motorbike with your feet or your knees bent, so your feet are on the boards at the bottom, or you can have it that your feet are in front, almost like a cruiser type style bike. So there are different possibilities or different configurations of you getting your comfort. Now this one benefits from an electric screen. As you can hear all the wind in my face now, and it's full up the electric screen. A lot of protection. Now for me, I perhaps need it being up another 3 or 4 inches just to make completely clean air. I have got clean air. I've got no buffeting, but the air is going straight into my visor. It's just blowing the visor down. Whereas on like the RT, that sort of thing, with a bigger screen, the screen will stop the air coming into your face completely. So for me, 5'9", 5'10", 5'11" tall, I could do with perhaps a little bit taller screen on there, but that's an aftermarket thing. The wing mirrors, really good. They're a good shape. I think if I'm the wing mirrors are a really, really good shape. I think they look good in terms of how the bike looks and how it feels. A little bit disappointed that they're so close, and I can see that there's an awful lot of me in the mirrors, and they are angled quite a bit. I have got a good vision around me and behind me with the mirrors, but I could probably do with just the moving out about 3 or 4 inches again. In terms of handlebars, the handlebars are in at 100% the right place. You kind of feel, it's kind of a mixed feeling I'm getting from this bike. You almost feel like you're on it, but you also get that feeling that you're kind of in it. It doesn't really make sense, but that's how I feel. Handlebars, right distance apart, they're in the right place. My arms are really comfortable, whereas with some bikes you're kind of up here, and you see riders take your hands off your handlebar and in your lap just to relax your arms, but it's almost like sitting in an armchair, to be honest, and really comfortable. There's a lot of switches and dials on the handlebars, which is good. Lots of them are the standard switches and dials. So you've got your cut-off switch, your hazard switch and your start on the right hand side. And it's busy on this road. And on the left hand side you've got headlights, flashers, horns, indicators, a whole host of other stuff, which is brilliant. So let's see if we can find Mark, which is good because I want to see how this bike performs. So we're doing 40 now, and I'm just going to twist the throttle just a little bit, bring us up to speed at no time. And you know, one of the overwhelming feelings I'm getting from this bike is that when I first got on it, we all have preconceived ideas about what it's going to be like before we get on a bike. And that's why I think manufacturers go so far to make it look good. They design nice shapes, the colours are all a really important factor. It's like food, you eat with your food before you actually eat it. That's how you pick your food, isn't it? And that's no different through looking and choosing a motorbike. And the look of this bike and the preconceived ideas I had were that this bike's actually going to be quite slow. It's a 300cc. I've been on 300cc bikes before. Although it's going to be fun, actually I think it's probably going to be quite slow. But I couldn't have been further from the truth, really, because you know, we're doing 30 miles an hour. I take it down to 25 miles an hour and then just literally open the throttle, and the power is there. There is a lot of power there, and it's all in your right hand. All in your right hand. Really like that. The suspension, actually, it's really comfy. You know that you're going over bumps in the road, as I'm sure you can hear by my voice, but it's not an uncomfortable ride at all. It's quite a smooth, comfortable ride that you can actually feel things on the road, but it's not jerking you and bumping you and bouncing you all over the place. But you do get that feeling that you're connected with the road and you're connected with the ride. Because I think some people that would think about these bikes, and people that are riding the bike or even thinking about getting one, would, I think, might be a little bit worried about that disconnect between it not being a motorbike. Well, it actually 100% is a motorbike. People might call them scooters, but the connection that you get with your ride is, I would say, just as good as any other motorbike out there. It's very flickable. You know, I would say that the steering and the way that it behaves is almost like an RT in the way that you can flick the bike about, you're pushing down on the bars in the same sort of way as an RT. And look at that, look, I'm doing hardly any miles an hour at all, and it's so well balanced. I'm so impressed with it. The screen, looking up front, the screen down the bottom, we've got two massive dials. The one on the left is for the speed and the one on the right is for the rev counter. And then when you look at your screen, you've got a whole host of information, so you know what time it is. You've got average fuel consumption and trip computer thingamajiggies, and how well the battery's doing, the air temperature, what the fuel's like, what the engine temperature's like. And then you've got some warning lights down here. If I use the indicator, you've got big indicators here, so you know that you're doing it. And what I do like about it is, because they've set it down, you really don't have to move your head too much to see it. You have to move your head a little bit to see it, but the dials that you need the information from really quickly are just in the right place. So there's no fishing around with your eyes to find what you need to find. But what I do like about the instrument cluster and where they've put it is that they have thought about the location, not only from where you're looking, but because this has got I would say like a visor, but it's basically a bit of plastic trim. That bit of plastic trim is actually going to, I would say, keep that instrument cluster and all the dials readable all the time. So with some bikes riding to and fro with the sun behind you, sometimes it can get to the stage where you can't actually see anything on the screen. You can't see how fast you're going, or any warnings or anything that might come up on the dashboard. But because of the angle of this, it's angled slightly differently, that it's more upright, that you can see everything. And I would hazard a guess that in most lighting conditions, you're going to be able to see everything you need to see there without a problem. And I forgot the other thing is, it's made by Honda, so you can be assured that it's going to last and go the distance, pardon the pun, but go the distance not only in the ride that you're going to do today, but it's going to last. What's the horn like? What a tiny little horn. What a tiny little horn. Right. So we are now back in a 60 limit and I am doing 30, and I just want to let Mark get away a little bit before I then throw on the power that this 300 has got in store. So I'm just going to dump the throttle, and the pickup is really good. I mean, that's nearly at 60 already, and that's in no time at all. So it's not going to be a slouch at all. I think riding this bike, not only is it going to be amazing for going to the shops because of the functionality of where you can put stuff, but I think it's also going to be really quite amazing to take it away on tours. Now, if you think that a 300cc is going to be really good on fuel, riding up and down over mountain passes and stuff, you might think that the power isn't there. I think the power is there in this, and the efficiency of how the engine is giving you the power and the torques and all of that good stuff, I think it's a real versatile bike to take on a tour as well. I really like riding these scooters. Now I think in the biking world, the biking community, there is a motorbike for everybody. Regardless of what that looks like and how it is, you know, there is a motorbike or a form of motorbike for anyone. And I think over the years, there's probably been quite a lot of snobbery involved with people with certain types of bike. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, really. That's just how some people behave with everything, really. You know, my bike's better than yours isn't as good as this. But you know what? I think for a long time, and I'm guilty of this, as guilty as anybody, of overlooking something like this to be a really good ride. You haven't got to have £20,000 worth of BMW to ride around on. You haven't got to have £20,000 of, I don't know, Honda or Suzuki or that sort of thing to ride around on. This bike, I mean, you're talking, it's a really good price. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a really good price. It's a 300cc, and when somebody says, oh, you've only got a 300cc bike, actually, getting on this and riding it is so different to how it sounds and how you think it's going to be. I actually think this bike is really something incredible. Now, I am with the Honda Forza 300 ABS. ABS. And it's got about 25 brake horsepower, I'm going to have a look, 11.5 litre tank, 184 kilos. But I tell you what, I've so been looking forward to riding one of these because Mark rode the Bergman 650, or was it 400? And then also the Honda XADV, the funky looking thing. So I really wanted to ride one, and I thought, how am I going to get on? Every time I think I'm going to change gear, am I going to ram the back brake on? But I didn't. I think when you just, it's like getting in an automatic car and a manual car, you just get used to it, don't you? But I really, really liked it. For 300cc, this goes like stink. I had to think of a word that wasn't a swear word then.
Really?
It really does. The power, even though it's only got that tiny, you would imagine a tiny amount of brake horsepower, it goes so well. It really does. And it's like a crossover for being in a car but having all the fun of being on a bike. That 184 kilos you would think would be too heavy for this, but it's got a centre stand and a side stand.
Oh,
you know, this
get your legs out
yeah.
there, chubby.
So you would think that 184 kilos, as you get it over, would want to pull over, but it's so light. It's unbelievable, really unbelievable. Now, when I was sat on it, like with the other scooter, I was a little bit disappointed with the seating position, only for a fraction of a second, because my coccyx right on the where the pillion seat comes up, and if I have my feet there, I'm kind of pushed right against it. I could do with like 3 or 4 inches longer seat, but there, so comfortable.
It's a good riding position.
Yeah.
It's like an adventure type bike.
You could ride like an adventure, ride like a cruiser. Ride like an adventure, ride like a cruiser. I think I really, really do like it. The aesthetics and how it looks, I think it looks understated, and I think I was saying on the camera, Mark, that there's probably been an awful lot of snobbery around the biking community. And I'm not knocking anybody for it, but we all do it with whatever we've got. I've got this car, you've got that car, I've got this phone, you got that phone, I got this bike, you got that bike. But you know what? I think this would impress an awful lot of people if they only took out of their head the stigma of what they think it's like to ride a scooter. Actually, this is nothing different than riding a normal motorbike. It's really, really lovely. The centre stand, look at this. See the amount of effort. Oh, is it on the stand? Oh, yes, it is. It's amazing. Really, really good. Underneath the seat.
Hello, there's a coffin.
Hello, hello, hello. It's incredible. Not only have they thought to have these dividers in here, so you can put them in different places, so you can actually configure it for your shopping or whatever you're going to do, your touring kit. But this will take apparently 2 full-size helmets. Now, we've both got flip helmets and they might not fit in there so well, but it will take 2 helmets. In here you've got all your toolkit and stuff strapped up.
That's amazing though, isn't it?
Yeah. You got these grab handles that are like solid. I mean, look at that. That's solid. That's on the frame of the bike. And it just clips in. Going back up this way, lovely little switch. You press it in to wake it up, and in this position, seat and fuel, you can press your button to open your seat, press your button for your fuel. How cool is that?
Do that again. Oh, hey.
How cool is that? And obviously your seat button there as well, so you can take your seat up, which is really good, and then you can turn it again to turn everything on, and then you can start your bike. What I do like about this though is it's got massive dials, so you don't really have to take too much attention to what information it's giving you, but you've got loads of stuff, like you've got the time, the temperature of the engine, the fuel gauge, trip, average consumption, range of the bike, air temperature, battery voltage, all the things down the bottom. But what I like about where they put this is, if you think where you're sat on the bike and you're looking down, one, you haven't got to keep doing that, so that's great, but the angle of this, even with the sun behind me, because it's angled more up, I think you're going to be able to see everything without all that glare and stuff that you get on some bikes. I think it's going to be really, really good. You also get this beautiful Honda stuff. So all of the usual switches on the right, get some extra switches on the left-hand side. You can get different info on your screen, and you've got your horn indicators and your other info and your flashing headlights. But look at this. I'm going to ride and I want air in my face. I'm going to ride on the dual carriageway.
Wow.
How cool is that? Now I'm 5
Some
foot.
very posh bikes have that.
They do. I'm about 5'10", and I would have liked the screen to have been a little bit taller, purely because I didn't have any buffeting or anything, but I had air coming directly into my face, and I quite like riding with my visor open, so I would have perhaps liked it to have flicked it over a little bit more, but that's just down to me and my comfort with riding. The lights,
Look at those little rascals.
look really good. I love this theme, but same with normal Honda stuff, you get the indicators that are kind of on all the time, and I don't know why they started doing that, but anything to be seen on the road is a plus.
Yep.
really like it.
Pillion foot pegs there.
Yeah, you have pillion foot pegs which just come out like that.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking about this snobbery and stuff, and people would say, well, actually, you can't take that on tour. I rode this, and the torque and the power that it gave me, I would be really quite happy to ride this and take it on a tour. And we've had people on slightly bigger ones on tours. They haven't had any kit hanging off the bike or strapped on the bike. It's just been a rider and a pillion, and all of their stuff has been inside. You know, so it shows you how cavernous it is. Good exhaust, it sounds really good, it goes really well. And I thought, because it's kind of like an automatic, isn't it? It's twist and go. I thought that when you were stopped, you wouldn't have been able to go back. But it seemed to know when I'd stopped and there wasn't any pulling to go forward at all. When you stop, you could put your foot down and take your hands off your thing and it wouldn't pull away. But you could also roll back as well. So that's good. So if you had to manoeuvre. And the turning circle is incredible. Wow. Look at that. That is an amazing turning circle. And come over here. We've not finished. There's other stuff. So this unassuming dash here gives way to this cavernous glove box. Now that all gets locked when you lock the bike up, because this bike has also got a keyless ride. So when you've stopped the bike and you turn it off, I turn it off, and then apparently I can just walk away with the key and it should flash the indicators.
In some way.
In some way.
We've got a slight technical problem there. We don't have to push the bike back.
There, they flashed.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, because it locks it all for you, so you haven't got to lock it, but you have got a handy little button with flashy things and a key thing.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
So that's turned this on, it's flashed it, so it's ready to start. So presumably that would take place if you having to press it to wake it up. All in all,
no handbrake.
No handbrake on this one. No handbrake.
Stop.
Yeah, it's got a side stand. It won't start on the side stand. It has to either be off the stand or on the centre stand to start. But other than that, it is what it is. It's really good. One thing that there is a downside, a very small downside, and it's these wing mirrors.
All right.
They look really good. They're in the right place, other than I would have liked them to have gone out 4 or 5 inches, because there's a lot of U in them.
Okay.
And no matter what I did, I couldn't really see everything that I would want to see. Other than that, classic Honda stuff, it'll tick over all day long, and run along at motorway speeds all day long without a problem, and it was so comfortable.
You see, we are snobs in the UK, aren't we, I think, when it comes to bikes like this. You go to Europe,
they're all on them.
Major cities in Europe, everybody rides these bikes, and you go, well, why? Why? Because you can stack all your kit in there.
Yeah.
They're easy to go, they're low maintenance, just does what it says on the tin.
And for a 300, would I take that touring? Would I be proud to ride it? Absolutely. I think.
Wow.
You know, I think I've got to that stage in life, viewers, where you just don't care what you look like.
Clearly.
Well, you know, there is. Everybody goes through in life, don't they? What is other people looking at? Even if you say that you don't, we all do, don't we? But do you know what? I think I'm at that stage of the life. I don't care what people think. If I wanted to ride this, I would be really happy about riding this.
Wow.
Both to work and for touring. It just does it all. And that cavernous space in there, imagine that, Mark, going away on tour.
All your sandwiches in there.
Turn up as a tour guide and they say, where's all your kit? What's in there?
I'm wearing it.
Yeah, how amazing would that be? I really, really like it. And to all you haters of scooters out there, and I know that they're out there, get on one, ride one. This has changed my opinion of a scooter completely. It really has. I'd be
very
really
philosophical of you.
Wow, we rode the electric one from BMW. That was incredible on the torque and the pull away. Battery life not so great. This is really good. I like it, and I especially like that. I love it. I love that.
Yeah. God, you could pass hours in a traffic jam like that on that, couldn't you?
Yeah, I really like it. Really like it. So, if you've liked the video, give it a massive thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button wherever it may be, and we'll see you in the next video.